Wow, so you have a good job and are a great father. Tell me more. Said no one. Hi guys, it's Midswatch, it's Ryan. I just done 5 of these things today, so this is going to be the last one. Hopefully my voice doesn't thin out by the end of it. This is a guy, Iceman Wannabe, which, I don't know, the names we pick, whatever. Talking about married friends. And he says, hello, quick question. I had the closest thing to a main event that I've ever had. I don't know if it is or not, but it was a bad one. Side note, if you don't know what a married event is, or a main event is, usually at the end process of dread, or the process a guy takes to solve his sex life and stop being taken for granted, you can end up in a situation, the mother of all comfort test, a girl freaking out over the fact that she's been self-destructive, you've been improving, and she can't figure out how to get back into your life, and so it becomes like the big crying snot fest. That's a simple way of putting it. There's more to it, but that's in the book, so I'll skip there. I'll go into the details in a different post, but I have a pressing question. My marriage has been in the dumps for ages. Sex is a distant memory, and I haven't been close to for longer than I like to think about. Anyway, at the end of the discussion, she said something that left me doubtful of my course of action. Namely, that she envied people on Facebook about always posted being married to their best friend and felt that she didn't have that. I couldn't help but blurt out that was stupid. No idea if saying that was the best, but I reacted without thinking. Then she said, let's be friends, assume I'm on the market, but only you know it. And I said, I don't want to be your friend. I'm not interested in being your girlfriend. I want a wife, a lover, and sex. Then she got mad and said I was stupid and that we would be friends and the sex would come later, that it was implied. Well, going strictly by my limited proficiency in Red Pill, this whole idea sounded like supplicant behavior request, chore play, and basically a very convenient arrangement for her. I have to be a father, a provider, and all that, and she gives me friendship with the nebulous promise of earning sex? Desire can't be negotiated, yada yada yada. Or is this a legitimate cry to be gamed and courted? I'm a neophyte, for sure. I've read a lot of Red Pill, but I haven't mastered it, and I'm trying to take it slow and be better instead of just going Rambo. So what should I do to respond to this? Is it a legitimate path or just AWOL behavior? Don't pull punches, I'm not here to be coddled. So Jack 10 of Hearts comes in. All right, I've used up my quota than the last guy, so this one's gonna be short. 1. Father and provider doesn't get you any points. When you say this, you're saying the only value you bring to a marriage is raising your own kids and bringing home a paycheck. Whoa. No other man has ever done that. A job and raising your kids? I have no idea how your wife's panties aren't drenched every time that direct deposit hits your bank account. Snark aside, seriously, that gets you 0 points. You're just pissed because you've assumed your commitment to monogamy means a robust sex life, and that never happened. If your weeks mainly consist of going to work, parenting, watching TV, and grumping about various weekend obligations, well, start there. You're boring. Man, you're boring. You weren't boring when you met your wife, if only for the novelty of meeting somebody new, but also because you probably went to concerts and took hiking trips and hung out with a diverse and interesting group of friends. Then you got older, your commitments of shit like career, home ownership, and children eat away at that, and now you're just a grumpy husk of your former self who feels entitled to sex with his wife. Well, what about her effort, right? She's not the hot, fun thing you met all those years ago either. What do you have to do to put all this effort for, you know?
Now he looks like this.
Dude, I have been telling you guys this. I've been telling you this for years. Chicks are evil. You don't. For her. I would love for my wife to say, pretend I'm single, because then I would have just paused and said, okay, in my head, you want me to think you're single, so we're not married. Let me think about that for a while, and then go to bed. Then I would have jotted down some notes for my future map in a notebook, turned out the lights, and passed out. Assume she's single? Well, that literally, by definition, means you have to assume you're single too, which is actually what your wife wants. She said it in the typical female solipsism that's no stranger to guys who know the red pill. And it probably didn't occur to her that this will mean stepping up her game as well, but it will. Oh, it will. Because now you're going to figure out how to start putting those building blocks of your life you had back together when you were single and desirable. It's not going to be a perfect replication, but you start by cutting out the boring stuff. You know, blah, 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 TV, who cares? Your wife will start perceiving some distance between you. She might get whiny or annoying or anxious and even say, "That's not what I meant." But see, part of your map should involve play. Playing sports, playing at woodworking, playing happy hour with your buddies. Your wife asking to be friends and assume I'm single is her saying, "Remember when we used to play together?" Because a life with some play and recreation makes it very easy to blur the lines of sexuality and intimacy in your marriage, because what is sex if not play? She's tired of feeling like sex is some discrete, scheduled block of time she needs to commit, lest you start whining about the sex you're owed because of that paycheck. Framed like that, maybe her suggestion doesn't sound so shitty, right? So when it gets down to being upset and anxious, it may be a shit test, but it's probably a shitty comfort test. She wants to play with you, but you seem to just be playing on your own, and she's jealous, so you can snark about those apples, bitch, or tell her about how to meet you at 9 on this Friday at the cool bar. Tell her to get someone to babysit the kids. You'll meet her Starlight after work. And if she shows up in a nice dress, cuddle waiting for you, that you'll play with her. That's expectations, essentially, yeah? Going to the gym after work, hit the vanity muscles. That's what Friday workouts are for, right? Shower and change in the locker room. You don't need to be the whole stranger roleplay thing. Park your car in the hotel, enjoy a drink or 3, stumble home in an Uber, and then you can finally try initiating with your wife. Any other sex you try to have until this point will be whiny and entitling anyway, so don't even bother. Wake up the next day, invite her to take a shower with you, tell her you're going to take an Uber back to the hotel, get your car, and run some really annoying errands you've been missing for a while. Tell her you can't wait to have those omelets when you get back. What omelets? You want us to make omelets? Exactly. Repairing drywall for sex. That's negotiating desire. Repairing drywall for omelets? Well, that's not a bad deal. Anyways, this is paraphrased as a simple set of steps, but there is several assumptions here. If you don't have the financial or logistical means to afford some expensive drinks or arrange babysitting, then no wonder your wife isn't fucking you. Your life isn't just boring, it's boring and stressful. It's very easy to turn money into improvement and play. You get the latter, and you don't need to whine about how your paycheck makes you entitled to anything because you're spending on what you want. You're single, remember? And all this Facebook crap about marrying your best friend is only annoying if you take it hyper literally, because any photo you see is always that couple that's at a tropical waterfall, salsa dancing, or enjoying a fucking picnic, and it's all contrived, but all those things are play. It's just play acting, it's LARPing. There's probably some early date with your wife back when she was your girlfriend where you went to go see a movie, but it was sold out, so you had 3 hours to kill, so you had to do this and this and this, and you just adapted the situation. Seriously though, all these annoying Facebook posts, it's not about the waterfalls and the picnics. It's about play in whatever way you want. She used to like playing with you and can't imagine it's hard for her not to like playing with you again. Start of it. This is the start of something. Put a pin in this for the next couple episodes. I am also wagering a bottle of Macallan 12 that Ryan Stone will snark, "That was a short response." To which I was like, dude, you are trying sometimes. You should have just put that bottle of Jean Renault 1948, everybody knows you could have made bank, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Op's talking too much, not you. Yeah, so that was kind of the start of starting to ping off each other, which is pretty funny. The key point of this one is start living like you're single. It's Operation Scorched Earth. This is the start of Operation Scorched Earth. And for a lot of guys, they always heard the stay plan is the same as the go plan. Well, yeah, I can do that. And then they do the same things that they're trying to win over their wife anyway, which is wrong. What they should try be doing is, if your wife was dead, if she died, what would you do? How would you handle your life? What state of cleanliness and, meal prep, all this stuff, what would you do if you were the only one responsible for your life, raising the kids, those decisions? Start making those decisions. Start doing those things. Don't worry about your wife helping or not, and here's what's going to happen. You're going to reach a certain point where either A, your wife sees you living your life, your mental point of origin, and thinking, I need to be valuable to him because I want to sleep with him and, I like him and all that stuff. Then she'll start contributing in the ways that she sees you doing things. She starts adapting to your frame. Or she's like, great, he gets to do everything and I get to sit around eating things. And then you sit there. Meals are prepped for the kids, the house is clean, you just finished your day at the gym, you're about to go to bed, but you gotta go have a shower first, and then you look over, all that work done, feeling very proud of your accomplishments, and you see a frumpy soccer mom sitting there eating bonbons on the sofa, finger fucking her phone, going, why was I fighting for that piece of shit? And then that changes everything. At that point, you stop looking at her like that woman of Willendorf that you have to win over for the glorious joy of sex to, that dependent is wasting my fucking time. I'm gonna go fuck that chick from the gym, and maybe if this one's good enough, I'll keep her around, but otherwise, I don't need her around. I'm already taking care of everything. So maybe it's time to just clear the house out of some old luggage. You know what I mean? See, a big part of dread, and this is a hard thing to articulate, is because it's got so much loaded language in it, is when you tell somebody, you got to do this for you, not for her. It's cliched, it's derivative. Everybody hears that and they think, well, that means do it for her, but convince myself I'm doing it for me. And it's like, no, that's not what it means. What it means is you're doing stuff as if you not even resent her. Like if you're angry at your wife still, you still care. I mean, you develop an ambivalence towards her. Whether it's your fault or her fault, it does not matter. You've decided my life is not going the way I want it, and the only one who will change that is me. So I am going to start living my life as if it's the way I want it. And then anybody who wants to be in my life can add to that in a way that I find valuable, not them. How many times have guys have arguments with their wives? We only had sex once last month. We need to have sex more. But I made you lunch. It's like, bitch, I can make my own lunch. I don't need lunch. I need a blowjob. But don't have those arguments, right? In this case, it's just acting as if I can make my own lunch. I need a blowjob. Then yeah, go make your own lunch. Now that she has nothing to offer you, she has to think, well, what do I do if I want to be in this guy's life? Now, here's the thing. There's no guarantee that happens. Like with the frumpy fingering the phone thing, there's an entirely non-zero chance that your soon-to-be ex-wife will look at you and say, I don't think he's worth any of that act I'm putting forward. That's her choice to make. But then she has told you flat out what she thinks, and you need to take actions according to your best interests. Now, I'm not saying you have to ditch her right then and there. Sometimes the kids are 2 years from moving out of the house, so you're like, you know what? I'll sit here with this harpy wench until the kids turn 18 and move out, or whatever age they move out now, 36? Jesus. And then I'll divorce her once we're empty nesters. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes it's like, dude, the kids are 10. We got another 10 years of this. I'm just going to go get a side piece, keep it on the down low, because I don't want to have to go through a divorce procedure and lose the idea of accessing my kids and raising them properly, because I don't trust her with that too. That's Ultimate Cad did that himself. That's another option. But that's the point. It's your option to take. It's your ones to do. So, when you get a lot of these things, and this is the one thing I liked about this, is that there's these very rare wives who are self-aware enough to kind of, in the best way that women can, articulate what he needs to do. And right here is it. You need to act like you're single again. That was the man I fell in love with. You know who, and I'll end on this. Do you know who is needing this advice a lot? Former pickup artists. Can you believe that shit? I had one back when I was doing the old consulting calls back in the day. I don't do those anymore. Depressing as hell, not worth. The money just ain't worth it, bro. But, so he was doing his whole pickup artist mystery. He was like one of the coaches under the mystery method. Worked for mystery. Pretty cool. And he picked himself up this Ukrainian or Russian wife, something like that. Super hot. Was great. She loved it. Fell in love with that whole thing. And then as soon as they got married, he started doing the Madonna whore thing. Started treating her like the virginal Madonna wife. His wife got bored. His wife ended up leaving him. And he's like, I can't figure it out. I'm like, let me get this straight. You acted a certain way. You had fun. She enjoyed it. She liked you for who you were. And then to reward her, you changed everything that she bought into for the marriage and acted a completely different way that she found unattractive. He goes, yeah, basically. I'm like, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Why didn't you just stay as that guy? Well, women shouldn't have to date these degenerate guys. They should want whatever. It's like, dude, she fell in love with the degenerate guy. Be that guy. Well, I don't want to do it for her. I'm like, do it for you. Because if she still leaves your ass, at least that degenerate guy was able to get a girl once. He can do it again. Oh, so I should do it for myself. Yeah. It's that old adage that the old pickup artists used to say. You're not doing this to win that girl's heart. You're doing it to win more girls. They used to call it snipers versus grenades. And not grenade as in ugly girls. Grenade as in like you're not trying to pick up one girl. You're trying to get more attractive to all girls. And then you have more options. And then as you have more options, you're taken for granted a lot less. Not just because you can filter through people for ones that are already treating you well, but that the people that do get you are in a subconscious level terrified of losing you. And so they act better. Do you ever wonder that? Do you ever see that? a lot of people end up treating you better because they want you more than you want them. It's the cardinal rule of relationships. And I hate to say it, but the best advice I've ever seen from a non-red pill source on relationships is the best marriages are where a husband has his one foot out the door. So take that. It's not the advice you wanted, but it's the advice that probably worked, and it's one you definitely need. So I'll catch you guys later.